The thing about HTTP is that it's considered stateless. So what do we mean by that? Well, it means we make a connection and then the connection gets dropped. We need something else from the web server and a new connection is made. So if we consider a user and a server, it ends up looking like this. So a request is made and then a response comes back. Pretty simple. Everything is closed off, clean slate, another request is made, and then another response comes back to the user. Same again, another request, another response. The whole thing just repeats over and over and over again. So you load up a page and you could actually be making lots and lots of connections as each asset on the page is requested. The images and the style sheets and anything else that might be embedded that the browser needs to make a new request for. The state is not maintained between each request, not at the protocol level. Let me illustrate by showing you a request. So here's what happens when I request the Pluralsight website. This is the entire request. If I come back later and make the same request, it will look identical to this. And there is nothing in here that actually says who is making the request. So have a look at what we've got. The host, the accept headers, the user agent, encoding, language. None of these things actually tell Pluralsight who I am. Yes, they could get the IP that I've made the request from, but of course you could have many people share the one IP. It's not a stable identifier of the user. So between request 1 and request 2, Pluralsight has no idea that I'm the same person. Now the caveat to that is there anything else that can be sent in the request that ties the two together? So for example, a cookie, and that's one of the mechanisms of session persistence that we're going to look at in this module. But the point here is that this is all an HTTP request normally is, and there is nothing tying them together, such as a single open connection, so that the server knows it's the same person. And that's a really, really key concept that's going to keep coming up again and again throughout this course. Now, of course, this does beg the question, how does a web app actually persist state? So for example, you can log into Pluralsight. How does it make sure that when you make the next request to Pluralsight after logging in, it still knows who you are and it doesn't just force you to log in again? You make that request and it knows who you are. It gives you access to the things you're entitled to. How does that implementation work? Let's take a look at that now.